So if you've been watching our channel for any amount of time, you know that we love to do in-depth policy reviews. And our goal for all of those reviews is to really make them stand the test of time. That's been somewhat difficult because things change. But if you notice, in all of our reviews, we really try to stick to the key pieces of the contracts that don't change. So let's talk about what those are. So if you're paying attention to the things that we're talking about, you'll notice we're mainly talking about things like, well, what are the loan provisions? Loan provisions typically are not going to change from year to year. They may change if a new policy comes out, but if we're talking about the same policy, the loan provisions are what they are. So in all of our reviews, we talk about loan provisions. We're also going to talk about bonuses. In all of these different contracts, the bonuses are what they are. They will spell out, is this a contractually guaranteed bonus? Is this not contractually guaranteed? But the bonuses themselves, they're not going to change from year to year, specifically if it's one of those contractually guaranteed bonuses. So we're always talking about bonuses as it relates to these index universal life insurance policies. Of course, we're going to talk about fees. We're going to talk about company rating, and then we're also going to talk about caps. Now, the reason we're doing this video today is because the caps in all of these different policies, this is the one variable that we do know is going to change pretty much every single year. And we've been getting a lot of questions about caps and why they change and when they change and maybe how they change. And so I thought it would be a great idea to just take several minutes and talk about caps so that when you watch our old policy reviews, you will know, what information are things that you can take to the bank. Loan provisions, bonuses, fees, company rating. You can take that to the bank. Those things are virtually evergreen if we're talking about the same product. If a company files a new product, then maybe that changes. But if we're talking about the same product, those things are pretty much ironclad. They're evergreen. They're contractual. Caps, however, not contractual, not evergreen. And so let's talk about what exactly that means. So I mentioned that caps are going to change. They're going to change probably every single year. So the question that you should be asking is, why do they change? Well, caps are going to change every single year based on the interest rate environment that is currently being experienced. That's number one. And number two, they're going to change based on the volatility in the market. So what that means is if interest rates go up, you should expect your caps to also go up. Now, it's not going to go up, point for point. This is a lagging metric. Interest rates really need to go up for some sustained period of time in order for you to see the caps follow suit. But generally speaking, that's how it works. If interest rates go down, then you should expect your caps eventually to go down. And so if you purchased a policy 10 to 12 years ago, it's very likely that the caps on your current policy are actually lower now than they were when you purchased the contract because we went through a period of falling rates for a sustained amount of time. And so you should expect that. If you purchased a policy 10, 15 years ago, you should expect your caps to be lower now than they were when you purchased the contract. If you purchased a contract last year or 2 years ago or 3 years ago, you should expect to see your caps slowly but steadily rising. The reason you should expect them to see those caps slowly but steadily rise is because you purchased that policy when rates were near zero and now they're not. And so as rates come back to normal levels, you should expect your caps to go up. So that's interest rates. Pretty simple. Caps are correlated to interest rates. Rising rates, rising caps. Falling rates, falling caps. Pretty simple stuff. Caps are also dependent on the volatility in the market. Now, what does that mean? Volatility just means, what does the ride look like? Is it a smooth ride? That's not very volatile. Is it a bumpy ride? Very volatile. The bumpier the ride, the higher the volatility. The higher the volatility, the more expensive it becomes to buy call options or to hedge the different index options on your policy. So in a period of low volatility, you should expect your caps to go up. In a period of high volatility, bumpy ride, you should expect your caps to go down. And that pretty much holds true for almost every single company that's out there, whether it's an indexed universal life insurance policy. This even applies really to indexed annuities. So that's the relationship with caps. If you go back and you watch some of the reviews that we've put together and you see us talking about the caps on a particular policy, you should just know that today, those caps are probably very different than when we did that initial review. And while caps are important, what you really need to focus in on are the contractual elements to the policies themselves, loan provisions, fees, what are the crediting options that are on the policy, what are the bonuses, are they guaranteed, are they not guaranteed, and what's the company rating? Those are the things that are evergreen. Those things don't change. The caps, however, those are going to change every single year for the most part. Maybe not on every index that you see on the policy, but you should probably expect one of your index options to have either a cap or a participation rate change or a spread change pretty much every single year. So what should you do with this video? Well, there is one thing that you should do with this video, and that's this. If you've purchased a policy recently, let's say within the last 4 years, and you've seen your caps slowly but steadily decrease to the point that maybe now they're in the 7 or 8 or 9% range, I'm going to tell you that that would be concerning to me. And the reason it would be concerning to me is because over the last 3 to 4 years, we've experienced an increase in interest rates, which means you should be seeing your caps increase. And if they're not, if your caps are slowly but steadily decreasing to the point where maybe you've got an S&P cap in the 7s or the 8s or the 9s, that is a policy that you should absolutely review with a fine-tooth comb because it is behaving different than how the market suggests that it should behave. So that's just a public service announcement on caps. Caps are always changing. That's nothing to be concerned about. But if your caps are not behaving this way with volatility and with interest rates, if your caps are doing the opposite of what I'm showing you here, volatility spikes, your caps go down, normal. Volatility is low, your caps go up, normal. Interest rates go up, your caps go up, normal. Interest rates go down and your caps go down, that's all normal. If your caps are not behaving that way on your current policy, that may be cause for alarm. If you believe that your caps have been performing in an abnormal way, different than what we just talked about, that's a policy that you might want to get reviewed. You can do that by going to our website. Up at the top, you'll see book a meeting. It'll take you through a very short quiz where you have the opportunity to tell us a little bit about yourself, why you got your policy. You can upload documents, and then we'll chat with you and we'll see if it does make sense, if you should be concerned about the policy that you currently have. As always, our goal is to be helpful and to provide high quality education so that you can make the best decision with your hard-earned dollars. Hopefully this has been helpful, and until next time, take care.